Joining us now to talk more about Congressman Connolly's legacy is former Virginia Governor Gerry McAuliffe. Governor, good to have you with us. I'm sorry for the
Well, great to be with
circumstances.
you.
Yeah. Let's dive right in because, for our audience watching, when you think of Gerry Connolly, not just the congressman, but the person, can you share what kind of comes to mind here? How would you describe the energy that he brought to public service?
Well, first of all, he was a great Irishman. Anyone in Northern Virginia knows the one thing you always had to attend was Gerry Connolly's St. Patrick's Day party. Um, he always reminded me of a leprechaun. He was always moving. He was always upbeat. He was always fighting for people. And let me tell you something, he's going to be really missed in the DMV. We did not have a other member of Congress who fought as tenaciously as Gerry Connolly did for the federal workers. He always referred to federal workers as patriots, not as workers, but as patriots. People put their lives in making the federal government work efficiently. And so he fought for fair pay, job security, and benefits. He was always there. And then when you see the Doge cuts came in this year, Gerry was one of the most vocal critics to go out there and defend our federal workers. But also, he was huge on infrastructure. He had served 5 years chairman of Fairfax County Board. He worked on big infrastructure projects when I was governor. He and I worked very closely together on the Silver Line, on the new Route 66 projects, on all the rail projects. He and I both loved infrastructure projects, and he'd come down to the mansion, spend the night. We'd spend the whole night talking about how we make ease of transportation, make it easy for our commuters and our residents here in Northern Virginia to be able to move around easily. So I'm going to miss him. He was a great fighter. I think the one thing you think about Gerry, he was always in that arena. He was always fighting for folks. But as a federal worker here, and listen, as you know, the DMV, we're the #1 region in the country for federal workers. Virginia has the most federal workers. He was their fighter. He always had their back. When Trump or others and people tried to roll back benefits, disparage our federal workers, Gerry would have none of it and always was there fighting for them.
Look, it's evident that you have a lot of respect for him. And, I'm curious, what was your relationship like? Because I remember back in 2017 when Representative Connolly notably chose not to endorse you for governor. And when you look back on that moment now, what would you share with us?
In 13, you mean? When I ran in 2013?
Yes.
17, I didn't run for governor, but
when he didn't endorse you.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, we were good friends. And listen, I understand when people are in elective office and you got big primaries, people don't jump into those races. And, listen, we were great friends. We talked all the time when I was governor. As I say, we talked a lot on infrastructure. When I took office, I had to deal with a multi-billion-dollar hole that we had in Metro. I put together a regional, the whole DMV together. I brought Ray LaHood in as former Secretary of Transportation to deal with it. Gerry was one of my great advisors. When we began the initial discussions on rebuilding the Memorial Bridge, Gerry was there. So we had a great relationship. I always went to a St. Patty's Day party. I would love to host a little Guinness with Gerry on St. Patty's Day. And as I say, he's going to be missed. But we're going to miss him. The country's going to miss him. But right now, with all of these cuts to the federal workforce and federal contractors being cut back, it's going to be a real loss for this region because Gerry was such a great fighter. We got a great congressional delegation. They're going to have to step up and do some of the things that Gerry did. And I know they're capable of doing it, but it's a real loss for our region, to be honest with you.
As we're closing out, if you could sum up Congressman Connolly's legacy in one sentence, what would you share with us?
Gerry Connolly was a lion. He fought for those that did not have a voice, and he always did it in an upbeat spirit.
All right. Former Virginia Governor Gerry McAuliffe,
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today. We certainly
You bet.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.